Viewer discretion advised. This video contains fictional scenes of horror, blood, and disturbing content that may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Have you ever heard a woman scream at exactly 2:30 a.m. every Friday night, even when there's no one outside? They say if you hear her cry, it's already too late. In the quiet township of Oberdare, something unexplainable started happening. Every Friday night, at exactly 2:30 a.m., residents of Block D on Eniola Street would hear a piercing scream, a woman's scream, soaked in pain, rage, and sorrow. Nobody dared to investigate, because those who did never made it to morning. This is the story of Dora, a final-year university student, sweet-spirited and hopeful. She was the only daughter of a poor widow, and her dream was to graduate, get a job, and lift her mother out of poverty. Welcome to Dark Moon Folktales, where every story has a shadow. If you enjoy the story, please like, subscribe, and share. Let's begin. Dora wasn't famous. She wasn't rich. She wasn't loud. She was the kind of girl you see every day and never really notice, until she's gone. A final-year student of microbiology at Oberdare State University, Dora lived with her widowed mother in a cramped one-room apartment by the rail tracks. She was the type who woke early, prayed over Gary, and walked 40 minutes to campus just to save money. She wasn't popular, but she was focused. Always helping her coursemates with assignments they found difficult. Always keeping her distance from distractions. She had one dream: to graduate, find a job, and build her mother a proper house. But life, sometimes, has other plans. It was a Friday, April 17th. Dora's class had scheduled a late tutorial session to prepare for a surprise test. It ended at 9:30 p.m., later than planned. The campus was near empty. Dora clutched her file tightly as she hurried to the gate. The shuttle buses had stopped running. She stood alone at the junction, shifting her weight nervously, eyes darting left and right. A light breeze passed. The streets buzzed with distant music. Far away, someone was laughing. She checked her phone. 9:48 p.m. That's when a grey Corolla taxi pulled up beside her. 3 men inside. The driver smiled. "Fine girl, we're heading to the junction. You can join us." She hesitated. Something in her spirit whispered, no. But she looked around. No other cars. No keek. No bikes. "Enter, dear. We don't bite." The man beside the driver leaned back to open the door. She stepped in. Just for a short ride. At first, the car felt normal. They even made small talk. "Are you in your final year?" one asked. "So we can congratulate you early." Oh. Dora chuckled awkwardly and nodded, gripping her file tighter. But after 5 minutes, she noticed something. The driver didn't turn toward the junction. They passed it. He kept going. Faster. "Excuse me," she said, "you missed the turn." Silence. The man beside her slid closer. They kept driving round and round till midnight. "Where are you guys taking me to?" she asked again, louder now. Still no reply. Then, the locks clicked. The man beside her gripped her wrist. "Behave yourself," he hissed, "or you will regret it." Her file fell. She screamed. A punch landed on her ribs. Another on her cheek. The car swerved into a narrow path, bushy, hidden. No one saw them. No one heard her. That night, under the cover of the tall weeds and shadows, 3 grown men took turns destroying the life of a girl who had done nothing to deserve it. She begged. She fought. She cried so loudly that even the insects fell silent. But they didn't stop. Exactly 2:30 a.m., she stopped breathing. And when they were done, they dragged her lifeless body to the rail tracks. They laid her down, and walked away. Her mum sat all night by the window side, worried and waiting for her daughter. The rail tracks is always very busy by day. Hawkers, vendors, and so on are always around there for their businesses. People gathered around her body in shock. Some recognized her. A boy rushed back home to inform her mum. When she heard, she collapsed. She ran barefoot to the scene, screaming her daughter's name. The police arrived at the scene and took samples of evidence. Her body was taken to the hospital where the doctor confirmed she was brutally escaped till she lost her life. She was buried immediately the next day. Her mum wept uncontrollably. Dora was the only one she had left in her life. She wailed and placed a curse on the people that brutally ended her daughter's life. The police started their investigations, but Dora's spirit was too impatient that she took laws into her hands. 1 month after her tragic death, something stirred beneath the soil. The night of reckoning started. Dora's spirit came out of her grave, ready to avenge her death. She walked down the same rail where her body was dumped and headed straight to Demola, the first culprit's house. Surprisingly, Demola was still awake watching a movie on his phone. At exactly 2:30 a.m. he heard a noise by the hallway. He stepped out to check and saw nothing, then he returned back into his room. Suddenly, he held his neck as he was gasping for air. It turns out he was being strangled by something invisible as blood was dripping from the ceiling. He struggled till his throat was slit and he died in his pool of blood. The next morning, he was found in his room dead. Eyes gouged out. In the space of 3 nights, she struck again. The second culprit, Tade, was drinking with friends late into the nights. He laughed too loudly, bragging about his charm and cute looks, how every girl wanted him in the neighborhood. But his laughter froze when he stepped inside the restroom to pee. He saw justice boldly written with blood on the bathroom mirror and was shocked. Suddenly he held his chest groaning in pain, then fell on the bathroom floor and hit his head so hard on the tiles that it bled. Dora stood there looking at him. She didn't speak. It was exactly 2:30 a.m. on the dot. By morning, they discovered his lifeless body in the bathroom and it raised suspicions. People began to fear and wonder the cause of the 2 mysterious deaths. Sammy, the third culprit, feared for his life. His 2 partners in crime had died mysteriously. He feared he would be next. 3 nights after Damila's death, Sammy packed his bags at night, trying to flee the neighborhood. He believed the place was cursed. How can there be screams every night, and now my 2 friends are dead, he asked himself. While everyone was asleep, he sneaked out of his house to board a night bus heading west. Halfway into the journey, the driver noticed something strange. They were driving in circles. For 3 whole hours, they remained on the road, yet the bus kept returning to the same city they left. Eventually, they ran out of fuel. When everyone stepped out, Sammy noticed they were still in the same neighborhood he left hours ago. The time was around 2:30 a.m. Suddenly, he heard a scream from afar, the same scream that echoed every night. He knew something was wrong. He rushed back into his house and locked the door. The next morning, Sammy packed a few items and went to one of his relatives' houses on the next street, intending to spend the night there. Anywhere but Eniola Street. But that made things worse. That night, while they slept, Sammy felt a sharp slap on his cheek. It felt like a dream, but the slap was too painful. He woke up and saw Dora standing right in front of him. He screamed, waking his cousin. "Please don't kill me. Please spare my life," Sammy begged. "I didn't kill you, Damila did. You died when he was on top of you. Please spare my life," he cried. Suddenly, Dora disappeared. Sammy was breathing heavily, panting, sweating profusely. His cousin asked, "Sammy, what did I just hear you say? Who was on top of who and who died? What crime have you committed, Sammy?" Sammy ignored him. By morning, Sammy left his cousin's house and went straight to church. He knelt at the altar, crying, "Please save me, God. I know I have sinned. Please show me mercy. Don't let me die," he wept. While he was still praying, the pastor walked in. "My son, you have sinned," the pastor said. "The Spirit of the Lord told me that you can only be saved if you confess. Go and confess to the crime you committed 2 months ago. Go, my son." Still weeping, Sammy left the church and returned to his neighborhood. He gathered the residents and said he had a confession to make. They were shocked and eager to listen. Sammy requested that anyone who knew Dora's mother should go and call her. In less than 30 minutes, Dora's mother arrived. Sammy began his confession, how he and his 2 friends had ganged her that night, how she died during Damila's turn, how they dumped her lifeless body by the rail. He cried and begged for forgiveness. The crowd began murmuring. "So this is the reason for the midnight screams every Friday," someone said. And the mysterious deaths of Damila and Tade, another added. Dora's mother collapsed and cried bitterly. The only happiness I had left in this world, my daughter Dora, and you three snatched her from me, she wailed. One of the neighbors called the police. They arrived, listened to Sammy's confession, and arrested him. From that night on, the residents of Eniola Street began to sleep in peace. No more screams. No more torment. Dora's spirit had finally found rest, after avenging her death. 7 years later, Sammy was fortunate to be among the prisoners that was granted presidential pardon. He was the only one out of the 3 culprits who survived. Why? Perhaps, he needed to confess to survive. Perhaps, only confession could break the curse. Or maybe, God gave him a chance to seek mercy. Always note that. Evil may be buried, but truth never dies. What is done in darkness will surely come to light. And no matter how far you run, your conscience will always find you. Confession is not weakness, it is the first step toward redemption. Now tell me, what do you think made Dora spare Sammy's life, despite being part of the people and killed her? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this story.
Thanks for watching.